Before the 90 days, where love is online, the math is never mathing, and common sense missed the flight. I'm recapping the nonsense, the scams, and the audacity. You're watching Kinda Unhinged. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I'm back with another Before the 90 Days video, and we are on season 8, episode 17. So we begin this episode with Josh ranting to Chris about what happened the night before, with Elise making the scene in front of the whole entire bar. And obviously, he's still very upset that it happened. Then we see Elise come out of the room, and she says that she's feeling really embarrassed and she apologizes for what happened. And she asks if he still wants to go to the zoo because apparently they were going to go to the zoo. And he's like, yeah, we can still go. So when they get to the zoo, she's having a good time, but he's still a little annoyed with what happened and he's not ready to forgive her completely just yet. But she apologizes again and asks him if she can make it up to him, and he says yes. Then we catch up with Beer Khan, and he is still reeling from what Michael said about Laura. And Laura comes up to meet him and she's like, so how did it go with Michael? And he was like, oh, it went good. He was like, he's a really good guy. And Laura's like, that's great. He's like, yeah, he's a really good guy, but it turns out that you're not so good. And she's like, what? What did I do? And he's like, yeah, Michael told me about how you made a move on him. You tried to kiss him and he rejected you. Why did you keep that secret from me? She's like, well, I didn't think it was a big deal. It was before I met you and we were drunk. And he said the whole time you've made him feel like he's the enemy, like he's the one that's trying to make moves on you, but you're the one that's trying to hit on him. He's the one that rejected you. And she's like, I didn't make him out to be an enemy. You did that on your own. And he says, well, I wish we never met. And she said, you wish you never met who? And he was like, you. And she said, fine, I'll leave. Then we see a scene with Forrest and Sheena, and they go and get wrapped in banana leaves. It's like a spa treatment. And Forrest tells Sheena that he thinks that he wants to stay there and get a job. And of course, she's happy about that. And she says that she'll even help him get a job. And if she can't help him find a job, then she'll get a better job so that she can take care of both of them. And then he says that he texted his mom to let her know that they went to an immigration attorney, and now she's blowing up his phone. And Sheena was like, look, you got to grow up and you can't keep doing everything that your mom wants you to do. And he's like, I'm scared. And she's like, well, I'm here for you. So then we catch back up with Rick and Trisha, and her dad still wants an answer to the question of if he's going to have kids with Trisha. So Rick tells Trisha, tell them that we've only been together for like a year. So she tells them that, and they're like, we don't care. We still want an answer to the question. And now Rick is feeling pressured and he's feeling on the spot, but he sees that this is very important to Trisha and her family. So ultimately, he says that he will agree to have children with Trisha. And Trisha is overjoyed. She can't believe that he changed his mind. And he said that, like, just seeing how happy she was, like, really made him want to do this. Even though he made this decision, like, under pressure, he's still feeling like maybe they can have a family together. And, he's promised her family now. So they said, okay, when? When are you going to have kids? And he was like, well, as soon as I file for the visa. And they're like, well, how long is that going to be? And he said, in 3 months, I'll propose and then I'll put in the paperwork to get the visa. And everybody's excited, everyone's overjoyed. And the dad says that he gives them their blessing for them to get married and have children. So then we see a scene with Lisa and Daniel. They're just waking up. It's her last day there. She's going to be flying home later that day. And she says that he satisfied her in every way except for one way. And he was like, what's that? And she was like, oral. And he was like, I never did oral. I don't know how to do that. Like, you've been with those women too long. And she's like, well, that's what I want. That's a big thing for me. And he was like, well, I'm going to figure it out. And I promise when we get married, I'll do that. And she tells him that when she gets home, she's not going to be able to send him any more money because all of her money is going to be going to the immigration attorney. And he said that he's fine with that and he's grateful for what she's doing. So obviously, when they get to the airport, they're both really emotional because, I mean, she's been there for 3 weeks and it's been a roller coaster, but it's ending on a good note. And it's interesting that both of them are thinking that they're never going to see each other again, even though they're planning on going through with the visa. So in an attempt to get Josh to forgive her, Elise has booked a 2-night stay at the Blue Mountains, which is a place that Josh has always talked about and said that he wanted to visit. And she even attempts to cook for him. And honestly, it looks like she's never tried that a day in her life, but she's making an effort and he sees it. And I think he's thankful grateful that she is making the effort. And later on that night, they're in the hot tub, and Elise says that she really wants to meet his son before she goes home. And Josh is honestly not sure if he's ready to open up and let Elise meet his son because of all the fighting that's happened since she's been there. Then we see a scene with Jovan and Anna Lynn going to pick out a wedding band for Anna Lynn because they're planning on renewing their vows, and she doesn't have a ring. So the ring that she liked cost $268 US. And she's like, well, are we gonna get it? And he was like, well, we'll come back and get it. And she was like, we'll come back. And he's like, yeah, we'll come back because I have to check my bank accounts and things like that. And she felt humiliated because she's like, it's not even that expensive. And why would you bring me here if you weren't going to buy me a ring? So then Laura goes over to Michael's hotel and she confronts him about what he said to BeerCon. She's like, why did that even come up? And he was like, because he was trying to say that I was making moves on you, and I wanted to set the record straight and let him know that I'm not the one who made a move, it was you. And she says that she feels like he tried to sabotage them. And he was like, well, I don't even know why he keeps on insisting that I'm in love with you. And she says, well, I mean, you did hop on a plane and run to my rescue. And he was like, I was just trying to be a good friend, and that's all we are. I don't want to be more. And Laura, of course, doesn't believe that he just wants to be friends. I mean, neither do I. Because he did hop on that plane and come right over there as soon as Laura called him. And she's like, well, I don't even know what to do now. He doesn't even want to talk to me. And he was like, well, you need to acknowledge how he feels and tell him you're sorry. So she's like, all right, I'm going to go try to do that. She goes and calls BeerCon, and she was like, can we talk? And he was like, no, I'm not ready to talk right now. I need some space. She was like, so you don't want me to come back there tonight? And he was like, no. So then we catch back up with Rick and Trisha, and they are planning to fly out from her hometown to go back to where she currently lives. And while they're at the airport waiting for the plane to go back, apparently Trisha saw that Rick was texting his ex, and she grabbed his phone and she looks through his messages, and he's telling his ex that some of the best times he had were with her. And she was like, why are you texting your ex? And why didn't you tell me that you're texting her? And what are you doing telling her that some of your best times were with her? What about me? And then she goes and locks herself in the bathroom. And Rick says to the camera, how did I get so close to almost getting everything I want and then it falls apart? And it's like, because you're texting your ex. Block her, and then you wouldn't be in this situation. This is twice that your ex has almost cost you this relationship. He doesn't even see what he's doing wrong. So Forrest and Sheena come back from their little vacation that they have, and they meet up with his parents to go out to eat. And of course, his mom asks how their vacation went, and Forrest is like, well, I mean, we connected on more ways than once. And his mom was like, oh, you guys had sex? And they're like, yeah. And she was like, well, that's good. I'm glad that you both are finally not virgins anymore. And then she says, well, have you guys thought about how you're going to go about the visa to get Sheena back to the US? And Forrest says, well, actually, I've decided that I'm going to stay over here in the Philippines with her, and I'm going to get a job. And you guys already know that his mom was not having that at all. And then Sheena says, it's our choice. And his mom said, what just came out of your mouth? And then Sheena tries to defend Forrest, and she says that you need to trust your son more. And Molly says, I do trust my son. It's you that I don't trust. And then Sheena walks out of the restaurant. And that's where this episode ends. You guys let me know what y'all thought about this episode in the comments down below. And if you want more 90 Day Fiancé content, then go ahead and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.